there. So let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to describe a special celebration from your culture to someone who speaks English? Maybe it's a harvest festival, a religious celebration, a cultural parade, or a unique local tradition, and you're trying to explain what happens, why it's special, what makes it meaningful, but you struggle to find the right words. How do you describe the atmosphere, the excitement, the colors, the sounds, the emotions? How do you explain the traditions in a way that makes sense to someone unfamiliar with them? This is a really common challenge because festivals and celebrations are so culturally specific. They're filled with unique rituals, traditional foods, special clothing, symbolic meanings. And if you don't have the vocabulary to describe these elements, you can't really share the richness of your cultural experience with English speakers.
Emily, this is something I struggled with for years because my culture has these beautiful, meaningful festivals that are so important to who I am. But when I tried to explain them to English-speaking friends or colleagues, I felt like my descriptions fell flat. I'd say something like, "We have a festival in spring where we celebrate." And then I didn't know how to continue. What do we celebrate exactly? How do we celebrate? What makes it special? I wanted to convey the joy, the community feeling, the significance. But without the right vocabulary and descriptive skills, my explanations were boring and didn't capture the magic at all. My friends would nod politely, but I could tell they didn't really understand why these celebrations meant so much to me.
Exactly. And it works both ways. Understanding how English speakers describe their own festivals and celebrations helps you participate more fully when you're in English-speaking environments. Whether it's Thanksgiving in the US, Guy Fawkes Night in the UK, Australia Day, or local town festivals, knowing the vocabulary and expressions helps you understand and engage.
Plus, being able to describe celebrations is valuable in so many contexts. In social conversations when people ask about your background, in presentations at work about cultural diversity, in essays or writing assignments, in travel blogging or social media. This isn't just casual conversation skill, it's cultural communication.
Welcome to English Club Podcast. I'm Emily, and I'm here with my friend Paul, and we're so glad you're here with us. This is our space where we learn English that connects us to real life and real cultures.
Today, we're diving into how to describe festivals and community celebrations in English. We're going to learn vocabulary for different types of celebrations and events. We're going to practice describing traditions, rituals, and customs. We're going to learn how to explain the significance and meaning behind celebrations. We're going to explore sensory language for describing sights, sounds, tastes, and atmosphere. And we're going to discuss how to make your descriptions vivid and engaging.
This episode is about cultural communication. We're learning to bridge cultures by describing what makes celebrations special, meaningful, and memorable.
This topic matters because festivals and celebrations are central to human experience. They bring communities together, mark important occasions, preserve traditions, and create shared memories. Being able to
Describing them in English allows you to share your culture and understand others. Plus, description skills are valuable far beyond festival talk. The techniques we learn today for vivid, engaging description apply to storytelling, travel writing, presentations, and any situation where you need to paint a picture with words.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to describe what happens at festivals from preparation through celebration. You'll be able to explain why celebrations matter and what they symbolize. You'll have vocabulary for traditional clothing, foods, decorations, and activities. And you'll understand how to make your descriptions come alive.
And hey, before we dive in, if you're enjoying this podcast, please like and subscribe to our channel for more English learning podcasts. It really helps us create more content for you. Your support means everything.
Okay, so let's start with basic vocabulary for different types of celebrations and events.
Festival is a general term for a celebration, often lasting 1 or more days, centered around a theme, tradition, or cultural event. We have a harvest festival in the fall.
Celebration is the act of marking a special occasion or the event itself. Birthday celebration, anniversary celebration, victory celebration.
Holiday is a special day when people don't work, often with cultural or religious significance. Christmas is a major holiday. National holidays, religious holidays.
Feast traditionally means a large meal for celebration, but can also refer to a festival day, especially religious ones. Feast day, wedding feast.
Parade is a procession of people, often with floats, bands, and performers, moving through streets for celebration or ceremony.
Carnival originally referred to the period before Lent, but now describes festivals with parades, costumes, music, and street celebrations.
Fair or festival fair is an event with entertainment, food vendors, games, and exhibitions, often outdoors.
Ceremony is a formal event with specific rituals and protocols, often marking important occasions. Graduation ceremony, wedding ceremony.
Now let's talk about the components and elements that make up festivals and celebrations.
Traditions are customs passed down through generations. It's a tradition to light candles on the first night.
Customs are accepted practices within a culture or community. Local customs include exchanging gifts.
Rituals are ceremonial actions performed in a prescribed order. The ritual begins with a blessing.
Practices are habitual actions within a cultural context. Traditional practices during the festival include fasting and prayer.
Now let's learn vocabulary for describing traditional clothing and dress.
Traditional dress or traditional attire or traditional clothing refers to culturally specific garments worn for special occasions.
Costume can mean traditional clothing or special outfits for performances or themed events. Festival costumes, elaborate costumes.
Describing clothing: colorful, vibrant, ornate, highly decorated, elaborate, complex and detailed, embroidered, decorated with stitched designs, handmade, authentic.
Specific garments vary by culture, but you can describe them. Flowing robes, embroidered tunics, ceremonial
Erratic headdress, decorative sashes, traditional jewelry. People dress in their finest clothes, or everyone wears traditional dress, or you'll see elaborate costumes are ways to describe clothing at celebrations.
Now let's discuss food vocabulary for festivals and celebrations.
Traditional foods, or festive foods, or special dishes, are foods prepared specifically for celebrations.
Feast as a noun means an abundant meal. We prepare a feast with dozens of dishes.
Describing preparation: prepared from scratch, made according to traditional recipes, passed down through generations, requires days of preparation.
Types of festival foods: sweet treats, savory dishes, traditional delicacies, festive desserts, ceremonial bread, symbolic foods.
Describing taste and experience: delicious, mouth-watering, rich, flavorful, aromatic, indulgent, sumptuous.
Everyone gathers to share a meal, or food is central to the celebration, or we feast together, describes communal eating.
Now let's learn vocabulary for decorations and visual elements.
Decorations are items used to make spaces festive. Streets are filled with decorations.
Specific decorations: lanterns, banners, flags, flowers, lights, streamers, garlands, ornaments.
Describing decorations: colorful, festive, vibrant, elaborate, beautiful, bright, eye-catching, stunning.
The town is decorated, or homes are adorned with, or everything is festive describes decorated spaces.
Colors are important. Red and gold are the traditional colors, or bright colors everywhere, or decorated in green and white.
Now let's discuss activities and events that happen during celebrations.
Performances include music, dance, theater. Traditional performances, cultural performances, street performances.
Music and dancing are common. Live music, traditional music, folk dancing. Everyone dances in the streets.
Processions are organized groups moving through an area. Religious procession, ceremonial procession.
Fireworks or fireworks display creates visual spectacle. The celebration ends with spectacular fireworks.
Games and activities provide entertainment. Traditional games, competitions, contests, activities for children.
Markets or vendor stalls sell foods, crafts, and goods. Festival market, craft stalls, food vendors.
Religious services or ceremonies mark spiritual aspects of celebrations. The day begins with a special service.
Now let's learn how to describe the preparation phase before celebrations.
In the weeks leading up to, or preparations begin weeks in advance, or families prepare for weeks, describes the preparation period.
People clean their homes thoroughly, or homes are deep cleaned, describes common pre-celebration cleaning.
Special foods are prepared, or traditional dishes are made, or cooking begins days before, describes food preparation.
Markets become busy, or shops are crowded with people buying, describes pre-celebration shopping.
Decorations go up, or people decorate their homes, or the town is transformed, describes decorating.
There's excitement in the air, or anticipation builds, or everyone looks forward to.
The emotional buildup.
Now let's discuss how to describe the atmosphere and feeling of celebrations.
Atmosphere or ambiance refers to the overall feeling of an event. The atmosphere is joyful and energetic.
Festive atmosphere or celebratory mood or holiday spirit describes positive celebration feelings.
Describing emotional atmosphere: joyful, jubilant, excited, lively, energetic, spirited, upbeat, cheerful.
The streets are filled with, or there's a sense of, or you can feel the, introduces atmospheric descriptions.
Community spirit or a sense of togetherness or collective joy describes the communal feeling.
Infectious energy or contagious enthusiasm suggests feelings spread through the crowd.
Now let's learn sensory description vocabulary because engaging multiple senses makes descriptions vivid.
Visual descriptions, what you see, colors, movement, decorations, crowds, lights, costumes.
The streets are a riot of color, or everywhere you look there's something colorful, or visually stunning.
Auditory descriptions, what you hear, the sound of drums, music fills the air, laughter and chatter, singing voices.
The air is filled with music, or you can hear traditional instruments, or the sounds of celebration.
Olfactory descriptions, what you smell, the aroma of traditional foods, the scent of incense, fragrant flowers.
The air is filled with the smell of, or you're greeted by the aroma of, or the scent of cooking food wafts through.
Tactile descriptions, physical feelings, warm evening air, crowded streets, the heat from bonfires, cool night breeze.
Taste descriptions: sweet treats, savory flavors, rich and delicious, traditional tastes.
Now let's practice describing the significance and meaning behind celebrations.
This celebration commemorates, or marks, or honors, introduces what's being celebrated.
The festival celebrates the harvest, or marks the beginning of spring, or honors ancestors, or commemorates a historical event.
Explaining religious significance: this is a sacred holiday, or has religious importance, or is based on religious traditions.
Explaining cultural significance: this tradition preserves our cultural heritage, or connects us to our ancestors, or maintains cultural identity.
Explaining community significance: brings the community together, or strengthens community bonds, or creates a sense of belonging.
For many people, this celebration represents, or symbolizes, or means, introduces deeper meaning.
Now let's discuss vocabulary for timing and duration of celebrations.
Takes place annually, or happens every year, or occurs once a year for annual celebrations.
Falls on indicates specific dates. The celebration falls on the first full moon of autumn.
Lasts for indicates duration. The festival lasts for 3 days, or celebrations continue for a week.
Spans also indicates duration. The celebration spans several days, or festivities span an entire weekend.
Begins with and ends with frame the celebration. The festival begins with a parade and ends with fireworks.
The main day, or the peak of the celebration, or the most important day, indicates key moments.
Now let's learn
How to describe participation and involvement. Everyone participates, or the whole community takes part, or people of all ages join in. Describes inclusive participation.
It's a family occasion, or families celebrate together, or multi-generational celebration. Describes family involvement.
Visitors are welcome, or outsiders can join, or open to everyone. Describes accessibility.
Some people observe, or many people attend, or thousands participate. Indicates scale of involvement.
Active participation versus passive observation. Distinguishes doing versus watching.
Now, let's discuss how to explain customs and behaviors during celebrations.
It's customary to, or traditionally people, or the custom is to. Introduces expected behaviors.
People exchange gifts, or greet each other with special phrases, or visit relatives. Describes common actions.
It's considered important to, or people make sure to, or everyone tries to. Indicates valued actions.
Some families, or many people, or traditionally, introduces variable or traditional practices. Now, let's practice building complete festival descriptions. I'll give you a structure to follow.
Structure. 1. Name and basic information. 2. Timing and duration. 3. Historical or cultural background. 4. Preparations. 5. Main activities and events. 6. Traditional foods. 7. Atmosphere and significance. 8. Personal reflection. Let me demonstrate with this sample description of a fictional harvest festival. Every autumn, our community celebrates the Harvest Moon Festival,
a 3-day celebration that marks the end of the harvest season and gives thanks for the year's abundance.
The festival has been celebrated for over 300 years, originating as a way for farming communities to celebrate successful harvests and prepare for winter. Preparations begin weeks in advance. Families deep clean their homes and prepare traditional dishes that require days of cooking. The town center is transformed with colorful lanterns strung between buildings, and vendors set up stalls selling crafts, foods, and seasonal goods.
The festival begins on Friday evening with a procession through the town. People wear traditional dress. For women, flowing embroidered robes in autumn colors. For men, ceremonial vests with decorative patterns passed down through families. The procession moves toward the town square, where a large bonfire is lit, symbolizing warmth and community as we head into colder months.
Saturday is the main day. The streets fill with music and dancing. Traditional folk bands play throughout the day, and anyone can join the dancing. There are competitions, pie baking contests, traditional craft displays, children's games. Food vendors offer seasonal specialties: roasted chestnuts, spiced cider, honey cakes, and harvest vegetable stews.
Sunday morning begins with a ceremony of Thanksgiving. Community members share stories of the year's blessings, and symbolic offerings of grain and fruit are made. The afternoon features more relaxed activities: storytelling for children, craft demonstrations, musical performances. As the sun sets, everyone gathers for the closing ceremony and spectacular fireworks display.
The atmosphere throughout
It is joyful and warm. There's a strong sense of community, with neighbors greeting each other, families reconnecting, and even visitors from other towns welcomed warmly. The air is filled with the aroma of traditional foods, the sound of music and laughter, and the visual beauty of autumn colors and festive decorations. For me, this festival represents connection to the land, to community, to tradition. It's a reminder that despite our modern lives, we still depend on the earth's cycles and each other. The collective joy and gratitude creates something magical that stays with you long after the festival ends.
That's a complete, vivid festival description. It covered all the elements and painted a clear picture.
Now let's discuss how to compare and contrast celebrations when explaining them to others.
Similar to familiar celebration, helps people understand by comparing to something they know. It's similar to Thanksgiving in that we give thanks and share a large meal, but different in that
Think of it like familiar celebration, but with unique elements, also uses comparison. Think of it like Christmas, but with more emphasis on community rather than gift-giving.
while familiar celebration focuses on aspect, our celebration emphasizes different aspect.
Shows contrast. You might compare it to familiar event, though the meaning is quite different. Acknowledges similarities while noting differences.
Now let's learn vocabulary specific to different types of celebrations.
Religious celebrations: sacred, holy day, worship, prayer, blessing, pilgrimage, ritual purification, fasting, religious observance.
Cultural heritage celebrations: cultural identity, heritage, ancestral traditions, folk customs, indigenous practices, cultural preservation.
National patriotic celebrations: Independence Day, national pride, patriotic, commemorating freedom, national anthem, flag raising.
Seasonal celebrations: solstice, equinox, changing seasons, harvest, planting, seasonal cycles, agricultural traditions.
Life milestone celebrations: coming of age, wedding, birth, funeral rites, baptism, graduation, retirement.
Community celebrations: town festival, neighborhood gathering, community tradition, local custom, bringing neighbors together.
Now let's discuss storytelling techniques for making festival descriptions engaging.
Start with a hook. Imagine streets filled with thousands of glowing lanterns floating into the night sky. This creates immediate interest.
Use specific details rather than generalizations. Instead of saying, "the food is good," say, "vendors serve steaming bowls of fragrant noodle soup topped with fresh cilantro and lime."
Include personal anecdotes. I remember as a child, my grandmother would wake us before dawn to help prepare the traditional cakes.
Show, don't just tell. Instead of saying, "people are happy," describe what happy looks like. Children run through the streets laughing, elderly couples dance hand in hand, and strangers greet each other with broad smiles.
Use varied sentence structures. Mix short, punchy sentences with long, flowing descriptions to create rhythm.
Build from general to specific, or vice versa. The festival transforms the entire city. Streets that are normally quiet business districts,
Ricks become rivers of humanity. The main square, usually home to just a few scattered tourists, holds tens of thousands of celebrants. Now let's practice describing specific sensory moments within celebrations.
Visual moment. As the sun sets, the ceremony begins. One by one, paper lanterns are lit, their warm glow multiplying across the crowd, until thousands of lights illuminate faces with a soft golden radiance. When released, they rise slowly, hundreds of tiny fires ascending into the darkening sky, creating a river of light flowing upward.
That's vivid. You can picture it clearly. The progression from one lantern to thousands, the specific color description, the metaphor of a river of light.
Auditory moment. The drum circle starts slowly, a single steady beat. Gradually, more drummers join, creating layers of rhythm. The sound builds until you feel it in your chest, a pulse that seems to synchronize the heartbeats of everyone present. Then, suddenly, the drums stop, and in that pregnant silence, a single voice begins the traditional song. Within moments, hundreds of voices join, creating harmonies that send chills down your spine.
Beautiful description. The progression, the physical sensation, the emotional impact, all conveyed clearly.
Now let's discuss explaining symbolic elements and their meanings.
This represents, or symbolizes, or is symbolic of, introduces symbolic meanings.
The color red represents good fortune, or the circular shape symbolizes eternity, or breaking bread together represents unity.
Each element has significance, or every detail carries meaning, introduces discussion of multiple symbols.
According to tradition, or it's believed that, or the meaning behind this is, introduces traditional interpretations.
For modern celebrants, it represents, acknowledges how meanings evolve or vary.
Now let's discuss the evolution or changes in celebrations over time.
Traditionally, or in the past, or historically, introduces how things were done previously.
While we still, or although we continue to, or we've maintained, describes preserved traditions.
However, modern celebrations also include, or in recent years we've added, or some aspects have changed, introduces changes.
The core meaning remains the same, but the way we celebrate has evolved, acknowledges both continuity and change.
Younger generations or contemporary celebrants or modern interpretations discusses current practices.
Now let's discuss vocabulary for scale and scope of celebrations.
Massive celebration or huge festival or enormous event indicates large scale.
Specific numbers help, attracts over 100,000 visitors, or involves thousands of participants, or fills the entire downtown area.
One of the largest or the biggest celebration in the region or nationally significant indicates importance.
Intimate gathering or small community celebration or local tradition indicates smaller scale.
Has grown significantly or started small but now, or expanding each year, describes growth.
Now let's learn how to describe different roles people play in celebrations.
Organizers or a festival committee or those who coordinate are people who plan and run events.
Performers include dancers, musicians, actors.
Traditional performers, street performers, cultural performers.
Participants or celebrants are people taking part. Active participants, enthusiastic celebrants.
Spectators or observers or audience members watch rather than actively participate.
Vendors or merchants or sellers provide goods and services.
Elders or community leaders or religious leaders often have special roles in traditional celebrations.
Now let's discuss how to handle explaining unfamiliar concepts or items.
When introducing something unfamiliar, provide context first. In our culture, we have a special type of bread called name, which is a round, slightly sweet bread traditionally baked in wood-fired ovens.
Use comparisons. It's similar to a croissant in texture, but shaped like a pretzel and flavored with cardamom.
Explain function or use. The ceremonial cloth is draped over doorways to welcome guests and symbolize hospitality.
Provide etymology if relevant. The word comes from the ancient word for gathering, reflecting the communal nature of the celebration.
Don't assume knowledge, but also don't over-explain. Strike a balance. We light oil lamps, small clay bowls filled with oil and a cotton wick, throughout our homes.
Now let's practice describing challenges or funny mishaps that can happen during celebrations.
One year, the weather didn't cooperate, or, despite careful planning, sometimes things go wrong, acknowledges imperfections.
I remember one festival where the power went out during the evening ceremony. Rather than canceling, someone started singing and soon everyone joined in. It became one of the most memorable celebrations ever, all candlelight and voices in the dark.
That's a great story. It shows authenticity and makes the celebration relatable. Not everything is always perfect.
Weather is always a concern, or we've learned to be flexible, or part of the charm is dealing with unexpected situations adds realism.
Now let's discuss vocabulary for invitation and inclusion.
Everyone is welcome, or all are invited, or open to everyone indicates inclusivity.
Visitors often join us, or outsiders are encouraged to participate, or we love sharing our traditions with others, shows openness.
If you ever have the opportunity to attend, or I hope you can experience it someday, extends personal invitation.
Please join us next year, or you'd be welcome to celebrate with us, makes direct invitation.
Now let's learn phrases for concluding festival descriptions.
This celebration is more than just a festival, or what makes it special is, introduces reflective conclusion.
For our community, this represents, or the true meaning lies in, or at its heart, the celebration is about, introduces core meaning.
I encourage anyone interested to, or if you want to learn more, or there are opportunities to, suggest next steps for interested listeners. Each year I look forward to, or this remains one of my favorite traditions, or I hope I've conveyed why this matters so much, adds personal closing. Now let's discuss regional and international celebrations to build vocabulary for different types.
Some well-known international festivals: Carnival in Brazil, massive street celebration before Lent with samba parades.
Elaborate costumes and dancing. Oktoberfest in Germany, world's largest beer festival with traditional Bavarian music, food, and massive beer tents.
Diwali in India, festival of lights celebrating the victory of light over darkness, with oil lamps, fireworks, sweets, and family gatherings.
Chinese New Year, or Spring Festival, celebrates the Lunar New Year with family reunions, traditional foods, red decorations, and fireworks.
Mardi Gras in New Orleans, carnival celebration with parades, masked balls, jazz music, and traditional king cake.
Learning how these celebrations are described in English helps you understand patterns for describing any celebration.
Now let's discuss modern additions to traditional celebrations.
Social media has changed how we share the celebration, or live streaming allows distant family to participate, acknowledges technology's role.
While maintaining traditional elements, we've added contemporary touches like introduces modern additions.
The younger generation brings new energy and sometimes new interpretations, discusses generational changes.
Some people worry we're losing authentic traditions, while others embrace evolution, acknowledges tension between preservation and change.
Now let's practice complete descriptions of different celebration types.
Wedding celebration. Traditional weddings in our culture are 3-day affairs involving both families and the entire community. Preparations begin months in advance with families arranging details and extending invitations. The first day features the henna ceremony, where intricate designs are painted on the bride's hands and feet while female relatives sing traditional songs. The second day is the actual ceremony, held in the late afternoon. The bride wears a red and gold embroidered gown, and the ceremony includes exchange of garlands, circling a sacred fire 7 times, and various blessings. The celebration continues late into the night with music, dancing, and an enormous feast featuring dozens of traditional dishes. The third day is a reception at the groom's family home, welcoming the bride into her new family. The entire celebration is joyful, colorful, and deeply meaningful, a blend of sacred ritual and community celebration.
That's comprehensive. It covered timeline, activities, significance, and atmosphere. Now let me try a coming-of-age celebration. When young people in our community turn 16, they participate in a coming-of-age ceremony that marks their transition to adulthood. The preparation is intense, 6 months of learning traditional skills, community history, and cultural values from elders. The ceremony itself takes place during the summer solstice. The young people, dressed in white ceremonial clothing, spend the night in meditation at a sacred site, returning at dawn. As the sun rises, they perform traditional dances they've learned, demonstrating their knowledge of cultural practices. Each participant then receives a special symbol from an elder, a pendant, bracelet, or other item representing their place in the community's lineage. The celebration that follows includes feasting, storytelling, and the young people's first participation in adult community decisions. It's a powerful experience that connects youth to their heritage and gives them a sense of responsibility and belonging. For those who go through it, the memories
Stays with them for life.
Excellent. You captured the preparation, ceremony, symbolism, and lasting impact. These detailed descriptions really help listeners understand not just what happens, but why it matters.
Now let's discuss how to respond when people ask questions about celebrations you've described.
Common questions: how did this tradition start? What do the colors or symbols mean? Can outsiders attend? How has it changed over time? What's your favorite part?
Respond honestly. I'm not entirely sure of the origin, but what I've been told is, or the meaning has evolved, but traditionally acknowledges limitations in your knowledge.
From my perspective, or what it means to me personally, introduces subjective interpretation when you can't speak for everyone.
Different families do it differently, or there are variations, or it depends on the region. Acknowledges diversity within traditions.
That's a great question, or I'm glad you asked that, validates curiosity and creates friendly dialogue.
As we approach the end of this episode, I want to give you practical exercises for developing your festival description skills.
First, write a detailed description of a celebration from your culture. Use all the elements we discussed: preparation, activities, foods, clothing, atmosphere, significance. Aim for 500 to 700 words.
Second, practice describing the celebration out loud, as if telling someone face to face. Notice where you struggle to find words and look up those terms.
Third, watch videos or read articles about celebrations from English-speaking cultures. Notice the vocabulary and structures used to describe them.
Fourth, describe celebrations using all 5 senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel physically? This makes descriptions vivid.
Fifth, explain the same celebration to different audiences: a child, a tourist, an anthropologist. Notice how you adjust details and language.
Sixth, practice comparison. Explain your celebration by comparing and contrasting it with familiar celebrations your listener knows.
I'd love to hear from you. What celebration from your culture would you like to describe? What makes it special? What challenges do you face when describing cultural celebrations in English? Share in the comments.
And please, if you found this episode helpful, like and subscribe to English Club for more English learning podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.
Remember, describing celebrations isn't just about vocabulary. It's about cultural bridge building. When you describe your traditions clearly and vividly, you help others understand your culture.
And when you understand how to describe celebrations in English, you can participate more fully in discussions about culture, tradition, and community wherever English is spoken.
You now have the vocabulary for clothing, food, decorations, activities, and atmosphere. You have structures for explaining significance and meaning. You have techniques for making descriptions engaging and vivid.
Don't be intimidated by the complexity of cultural description. Start simple. Describe one aspect well, maybe just the food or just the opening ceremony, then gradually add layers of detail.
The most important thing is to speak from authentic experience. Describe what you've actually witnessed, participated in.
Felt. Personal connection makes your descriptions powerful. Celebrations are windows into cultures. They reveal values, history, community bonds, and what people hold sacred. Being able to describe them in English allows you to open that window for others.
See you in the next episode. Keep practicing your English, and remember, you're doing great.
And the next time someone asks about celebrations in your culture, you'll have the words to paint a vivid, meaningful picture that helps them understand not just what you do, but who you are. Take care and bye for now.